Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Happy Teaching Podcast. Today we are talking all about scissor skills. Now, when you think of scissors in pre-K and kindergarten, you might be thinking of fun crafts. You also might be thinking of the time that a student, chopped off some of their hair and you had to send it home in a baggie, right? There's a big range of stressors and fun that go along with scissors at school. But we know our kids need to learn to use scissors. And it's so much more than just we need to learn to use scissors to use scissors. Scissor skills matter because it's really building up that hand strength, that fine motor control, and hand-eye coordination, right? There are a lot of skills that go into simply picking up a pair of scissors. Something that seems so simple doesn't mean it's easy. It's a pretty hard skill to learn. But the skills that go into scissor skills translate into writing skills, classroom independence, and other fine motor skills as well. And yes, they do need to learn how to use a pair of scissors as they move through the grades for cutting things out and other things you're going to do. But what can happen is we see our kids use the scissors. We watch them pick them up like this. And if you can't see me right now, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm like, holding it with both hands and, chopping the air, or they're holding them upside down, or it's just a little bit chaotic. So we do these fun, especially if you're in the Print and Play Club, we have a scissor skills song for you. Definitely go download it. But we do these fun songs and we teach them how to hold it and they're doing great. But what happens is we do that for a while and then we pull out the scissors for maybe some cutting practice or a craft. But then maybe they're not using them for a while. And then every time we're having to pull out an activity with them, we're kind of reteaching students how to use the scissors, right? Or they seem to regress in their scissor skills. Because if you think about it, think of writing. We're having our students write almost every day. Other skills we want to build, they're doing it all the time. But there is a gap there when it comes to scissor skills. And that is what we're looking to fill with the cutting jar. Now, you may have heard me talk about the cutting jar before. It is a game changer for your students' scissor skills because you're going to avoid all of these challenges of, I thought they knew how to use the scissors, and now they're just chopping things up everywhere when we're trying to do this project. Or we're only going to use the scissors during scheduled art time or during this activity. That means they're not going to be using them daily. And if we want our students to get better at something, they need to do it often. It is better to do something for a short period of time every day than to do it for a long period of time once a week, right? That short repetition daily is going to give us maximum benefit. And that's what the cutting jar is all about. We're going to build it into our day. So the cutting jar quickly became one of my favorite morning routines. Thousands of teachers also just love the cutting jar. We have so many teachers using it. If you're not one of them, make sure you check below. I'm going to walk you through some of it here as well, but make sure you check the show notes so you can grab our full training, our full pack with the strips and everything ready to go. So, okay, what is the cutting jar? Pretty self-explanatory. You do need a jar and you do need scissors. So what we're going to do is you are going to have this empty jar and it's going to be called the cutting jar and it's very special. You're also going to have a scissor caddy so students can use scissors. I recommend putting this on a tray or putting it somewhere that's mobile where you can have it available in the morning as they're coming into the classroom as part of their morning routine. Now, to start, students could even tear paper. Tearing paper is pretty hard. But you're also just going to have a regular scrap of paper to start, a small piece of paper, and just let students snip it. You don't even need lines on it yet. They're going to snip their small piece of paper and they're going to put the scraps in the jar. And then they're going to move on, 1 minute, and then they're going to move on to the next part of their morning routine. And each morning they're going to do this. Now, if you're thinking, wait, I'm going to have a line, a backup. I usually have students take their pair of scissors from the caddy, take their scrap and move away from the cutting jar. Then they come back, deposit their scraps and put their scissors away. Okay, so that way we're not crowded around there. Now, what we're going to do is over time, we're going to have lines on these papers. Now, they're small. It's not a whole piece of paper. It's a small strip of paper because it's designed to take about a minute or less. It should not take them long. And we're going to start with a thick, fat line, maybe 3 cutting lines for students to go cut, cut, cut. Right? Remember, less is more. Then they're going to put their scraps in there. Then maybe they're going to move on through 3 fat diagonal lines. Cut, cut, cut. We have the entire order below in the show notes. When you click on the cutting jar, inside that training is all the strips that you need in order. So you can actually just print them out and they're ready to go for you. If you want like not the DIY version, but the done for you version, we have that for you. But anyway, they're going to go cut, and put their scraps into the jar. Now, the goal here and what gets students so excited is you're going to collect all these scraps until the jar is full. When the jar is full, you're going to celebrate. This could be, extra recess. It could be a snack if you're allowed to have a snack. It could be extra playtime. It could be a dance party. It could be really anything, a sticker, anything that's exciting that they're working toward as a class when the cutting jar is full. They get very excited by this. And then we always use the scraps for mosaic art. So I put them into the art center, or you can have them glue them onto a black background and make cool designs. So we're really recycling this paper as well, and we're reusing it. But the goal here is each day students are doing the cutting jar, and each day or week, the strips are getting progressively harder, right? With straight lines into curves. We're looking at, straights, diagonal, curves. The lines get thick and then they get thinner. And we're really building up students' skills. Now, if you see in the show notes too, we've got some teacher feedback for you. When you click through that link, you can see the feedback from teachers who have used the cutting jar, where they say it's been a game changer for their students' fine motor skills. I know my students always went on to kindergarten into first grade, and we would get compliments about, wow, they really know how to use scissors. And it's not because we did a lot of fancy crafts or projects. It's just because every day, they did the cutting jar a little bit at a time every day, moved about our day, and you'll be able to see their growth over time. You don't need fancy materials for this. You literally just need any kind of jar. It could be a bucket, a tub. It does not need to be fancy. You just need simple things: scissors, a jar, and we have the printable pack for you. And we do have the training for you as well below, as far as if you want more pictures, you want kind of a real walkthrough with more images and things you can see as examples. That's in the training, and all of the strips that you need, the cutting jar label and everything. So you'll find that below in the show notes. But really, my goal with this episode is to encourage you to give the cutting jar a try. I want you to know that cutting is a skill that builds slowly. It needs a tool like the cutting jar to help students build it slowly over time and to get better at it. But I really want you to know that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be stressful to build scissor skills. It just needs to be built into your day in a simple way so that students are getting that daily repetition in a way that's hands-on, playful, and doable for you in your busy day. All right, if you have questions, make sure you reach out to us. I would love to hear from you if you've used the cutting jar, if you're thinking about it. We have lots of posts on it on the blog, on social media. So we'll make sure everything's in the show notes for you to check out while you decide if it's a good fit for you. And I will see you in the next episode. Happy teaching.